Today, real estate is a scary word. Whenever you mention real estate, people get scared, especially United States. And now, in our region, especially in Saudi Arabia, the opposite is the case, frankly speaking, because there's a lot of demand for the middle class, which represents a big sector, big segment of our population. There's a big demand for housing for the middle class. So really, we have two humongous projects in Jeddah and Riyadh. The one in Riyadh really is going to be just straightforward, around 17 million square meter, whereby we're going to build houses for the middle class, or we're going to sell portions to have construction sites for the middle class and in an affordable way. And now with the new mortgage law that was passed in Saudi Arabia after many years, this will help a lot in the jump-starting the process. Actually, we began the process there already right now. In Jeddah, it's a very much different project. It is more commercial, real estate, office, hotels. It's mixed-use project. Because as you know, Jeddah, the south of Jeddah has witnessed some floods in the past, and people are very worried and concerned from the southern part of it. So really, we took advantage of that, and we are going to construct, as I call it, a new Jeddah, north of the old city. And the center of that project is going to be the high-rise tower, the 1,000-meter plus tower that will be there. Actually, the construction began. We signed the contract with the first big contract with the contractor. And actually, the first subcontract was signed for piling just 2 weeks ago, and the process began already full blast. So both projects are really moving very aggressively. And the combined value of these projects in the next decade will be around 100 billion riyals, which is around $32 billion.
As they say, wow. Getting a little personal, what influenced you most as an investor? What did you learn that made you what you are?
Well, I have a rule. I call it 3 + 3 + 1. And I'll explain what I mean by that. At the very macro level, each investor has to have a vision. And after the vision, he has to have a strategy to execute that vision. And he has to have a plan to implement that vision and strategy. Also, you need to have the power you have to be innovative. You have to be able to take risks. That's number 2. And you have to be able to take tough decisions if you need to. Having said this, it's very important to have one item that's, I say, 3 + 3 + 1. Everything under one big umbrella: ethics. Ethics means high morals and corporate governance, which right now is the talk of the town all over the world. And we took that, really frankly speaking, on our shoulders years ago. Since I began work in Saudi Arabia, I was still a private company. I only went public 4 years ago. We were very transparent and public in all what we do. And so when we went public, it was very easy for us, really, because in the Arab world, many companies are very hesitant in being public in more information than needed. We have taken that path, really, since we began our work in January 1st, in 1980. So ever since, we were very public and vocal. And maybe we're saying, why is doing that? Well, we've been vindicated right now because now all companies, whether private or public, and especially public, have to be very vocal and extreme in what they say, because there's a lot of pressure by the analysts, by the public, by the shareholders to get to know more about each company that they're going to invest in.
How do you make sure emotions don't get in your way? That's what undoes most investors.
Good. One rule: emotions are out. They stay at home. No doubt about that. Emotions can't play a role at all in that, for sure. The moment emotions play a role, I'm telling you, you're in deep trouble.
How many hours a day do you work?
Well, let's put it in reverse. I sleep 5 hours. The rest I'm working.
This underscores something about entrepreneurship. We all talk about entrepreneurship, but it is not an easy thing to do. And how many hours do you actually read each day?
Yes, very good question. I read minimum 6 hours a day, really. Actually, I used to drive to my office, but then I counted how much time I use, by going from my house to the office to the house, and then back. It was an hour and a half, so I said, okay, no more. I stopped. I got my drive, and I read in the car also. So 6 hours a day for sure. Yes. It's not only just reading books, magazines, newspapers, reports, emails, and watching news. So really, it's 6 hours total information and gathering process.
Leadership. What do you look for when you size up a management? Obviously, you look at the numbers, but people make the difference. What are the things that impress you, or that what are the red flags you look for when you look at a management?
Well, as I told you, when we are a holding company, and many of our companies, projects are in Saudi Arabia. So it's very important to get, and we have a very decentralized approach. So it's very important that when you get leaders to manage these projects, like the transformation project in Riyadh and Jeddah and etc., it's important to have strong leaders that really speak up your mind. So I have to interview them. I have to be sure that they are, definitely ethics and morals are number one. This is non-negotiable. But also the same what I told you is having vision, the strategy and the plan. They have to be able to do what I'm thinking of. So all what I told you about my vision and my strategy in business, I need to have it in them. So clearly, I take them, you have to take a decision. You have to be able to go on it alone. If you're going to come for me every time you take a decision, then I'm going to be babysitting you. So that's unacceptable. Maybe in the beginning, yes, but at the end of the day, I always believed, something you like, I'm sure, what Reagan used to say, trust but verify. That's how communism collapsed, correct? He said to Brezhnev, I trust you, but I'm going to verify, until he made them collapse, obviously. So I tell them, I trust you, and you're going to earn trust with time. But I have to verify with you. So we monitor that until a year or two. And then obviously, whenever they take off, then they're autopilot.
One aspect of your extraordinary career is philanthropy. You have several foundations. You've made contributions and involved in efforts around the world, including with Bill Gates. How would you describe your approach to philanthropy, and why, as a business person, do you get involved with philanthropy?
Very good question. As I told you, I began work on January 1st, 1980. And simultaneously with that work, philanthropy began with me. Why? Because I'm very active Islamically person, conservative Islamically in my religion. And in Islam, you have zakat. Zakat is a pillar of Islam, an integral part of my life. So it went parallel to it. And clearly, I went even beyond what the zakat requires me to do. So it was very parallel to what I do. And when I actually met Bill Gates just 2 weeks ago in Abu Dhabi, neighboring city to Dubai, and he was trying to convince me to be part of the donors pledge. So I explained to him the situation, and he liked the idea of me being the only person who could be there as representing the Muslim community. So obviously we're still discussing with him the potential of being there. But really, to me, charity and philanthropy began since I began work. It's very much parallel to what I do, because it's like praying. As many Muslims here know, it's like praying or fasting. It's a main pillar of Islam that you have to do almost on daily and weekly basis.
What projects do you have a particular interest in? You're involved in a number of them. But like investing, you have to make decisions. What guides you on your philanthropy?
Well, as you know, Princess Ameerah is the Vice Chairwoman, and she's the Secretary General. And obviously, she's really managing the whole process right now from A to Z. So I'm, in a way, sidestepped right now by her, which I'm very happy. But really, we are really involved in many projects in Saudi Arabia, regionally, internationally. For example, when the tsunami hit, thanks God, and I say with big humbleness, that we were the biggest single contributor after certain countries to the victims of the tsunami in Indonesia, in Bangladesh, and in Sri Lanka. So really, our charity goes beyond our limits. Actually, I'll tell you a story where, and our charity is not only for Muslims, to be honest with you. Actually, I was visiting a country in Africa, without mentioning the name, and I was with the vice president, who was a Muslim, and he said, Alwaleed, your contribution will be given only to Muslims here. I said, if that's the case, you will get zero, Mr. Vice President. I said, why? He said, this is humanity. Charity has no religion or gender. This has to go for the people of your ex-country. Yeah, and he thought that he was pleasing me by saying that. I said, no, charity and humanity has no religion at all, and no sex and no gender. So please, this should go for everybody: Muslims, Jewish, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and even non-religious people. So the humanity has no religion whatsoever, and he did that, obviously.
Well, Your Royal Highness, we thank you very much for being with us, and you exemplify the understanding of both free markets and philanthropy. Both are about meeting the needs and wants of other people, and you personify the best of both. Thank you very much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. He goes with the best. Thank you. Thank you. See you. Fantastic.
We've been in touch anytime. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you.
Lovely seeing you.
Very nice to see you.
We'll be in touch.
Congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you. Read that Chronicle of Philanthropy.
Yes.
Bye. See you. Bye. مع السلامة.